I recently painted Felmersham Church, a beautiful church here in Bedfordshire. But I also, when I was out exploring for possible paintings, I took a picture of the steps on the west side, and I saw these beautiful hollyhocks. So I thought I'd have a go at this today and try and get all these lovely, I think they are the star really, that's the principal focus of interest. So I've got to try and get those flowers right and keep them bright and clean. And of course we've got the interesting ironwork. I like that. And the shape of the pillar and the steps and the stonework of the church here and the trees at the off to the side there and this grass. So I've got to have a go at that. So I've got to wash in here. I've got to try and get these details right, but so principally I must preserve the light, certainly of these lighter elements, and introduce these lovely colours and shapes. So let's have a go at that today anyway. So I'm going to start with a wash of some of this stonework just to get us going. So I think, well, this element is quite yellowy, and here a little browner and darker and silvery blue and umber, darker browns. So let's make sure I got a nice umber, not umber, ochre, that's what I should say, sort of yellowy colour here. So I'm going to just wash that in gently. As you see, I've sketched it out. I've got the main elements in, but I'm just going to keep it fairly loose. So I've got there, and I've got to introduce a little brown, little bit of variety in the stonework, but essentially I'm keeping the yellow brighter because I want to have contrast. And down the side we've also got some nice little columns which are, try and get those in. Vary the colour, drop some different colours in just to make us have some variety. I could put in the fine details when we're down the road a little bit, but for the moment I want to just block in some variety. Slightly different element of the wall here, different colour. Using a Chinese brush here, which allows a little bit of flexibility and looser style. They're really calligraphy brushes, but you can paint with them as well. Quite nice. Now I've got here on this side, let's get a little darker than that. So I've got a little bit of blue, a little bit of Payne's grey, and let's drop that in on this column here. Very ancient old stonework, hundreds of years. And steps along here up to this face. So I'll darken those, but let's be careful not to go over my hollyhocks here. It's probably difficult for you to see at the moment, being so somewhat washed out in the light. But I'm going to deal with that in a minute. Just try to mix up some different colours to give variety to this stonework. Just drop them in. Right, let's do that. And I think I need a little slightly bluer colour for some of the stone there. Let's try and introduce something to suggest them. And this was quite a bit darker here, this bit shaded somewhat. All the arches, things. Right, let's leave that for the moment. And then there's a little blue along here actually. Some soft edges. Right, now here, what am I going to get in there? That's some sort of old brown and greys, some variety of stones actually. I think I'll just have to have a go, dropping in a different wet on wet technique. Sweep it in. While it's wet, I can introduce some different tones. Let's leave that for a moment. And I've got this pillar, this big pillar here, which is a different colour. Got to introduce something a bit different there. So we've got some contrast. We'll do that. And under the underside there is much darker. So I've got to show that shadowy side. So I've mixed up a bit of different colour there. A little darker in tone. Show this bit here. In fact, it can be a bit wider there. It goes up there. and introduce all the carved stone. Can leave little bits of paper to introduce some light. Then it's a little lighter on the top, a little yellower. So let's get something there, not too dark. Let the water do the work. Right, let's leave it like that for a moment. And down in this area, stonework here is quite light. Catching something there. Got to avoid these hollyhocks, so I'm going to paint around them until I can get some colour in. Because I want to keep the colours bright and light around them. So let's go with that for the moment. And yes, I think we can put some stonework in there. All down here we have the stems of the hollyhocks. So we're going to have some green leaves in there. So we'll just go with that for the moment. Right. Okay. Got some stonework here, all coming down. Right, let's leave that for the moment. Up where we've got a little darker for a gravestone there, memorial stone up on this bank here. And how do I do? I think, I wonder if I should put in my flowers before I muddy the scene by painting over it. I think I'm going to get some greens in as well while we're at it. Got a green bank, just a lot just here. So let's get some sap green going. It's fairly bright actually, because it was summery. So I think I'm going to put a bit of lemon yellow with my green to make it a little brighter. there anyway. And we've got green coming all down here. And it's got dry stone walling here, so grass is showing behind these jaggedy stones, which we'll put in a little bit later. Raise that bank up a little bit, and up here we have our much darker green. So I'm going to get some sap, some viridian, and then a little ultramarine to give me a nice darker green. So I'm going to tap that in. It's all quite dark here. See a little bit of the sky appears through there, so I'll try and leave some sky holes. Can show the sky showing through a bit. Right, let's leave it there. This green here. And that up against the edge of this church wall. That will help to delineate that structure a little bit better. I've got all sorts of different grasses here, so I can do that, vary it. And we've put in a little darker. Got the little branches coming down here. Some tree in the distance. Okay. We'll leave it like that, I think. Say, just to suggest some bracken and old vegetation. Let's get a bit more green in there. Right, let's leave it like that. And let's vary a little bit green here. Otherwise it's a bit boring if you have too much green, the wrong or only one tone. And here we go. At what point do we lay in these greens, these colours for the hollyhocks? So let's have a look. We should get some leaves in now. See how it goes. Just try and represent some of the green of the leaves and these little flower heads, not quite out yet. lot of these on the stem, the hollyhock here. They've got the big coloured blooms there. Let's just do some, see if we can get some leaf shapes. Yes, they're just at the top of some of the blooms are not out yet. They will be coming along. The weather changes. Right, let's get some shapes in. Right, a lot of vegetation down here. Put some more blooms in here, I think. Not following exactly as I saw them, but a little bit of additional blooms I might add to give us more interest. But there was a good display here, actually. It's what attracted me to it. Marvellous colours set against this dark steps. I've got to get the steps in as well. I think we've got to be some darker shades here. I think I need some umber, some burnt umber to give me a bit more of a wash. Yes, I think I need that. Get these steps in. I've got to put in the black of the railings. I'll be doing that as we go. Right. Yes, I think that needs to be a little darker actually. So let's step it up with a bit of Payne's grey and burnt umber. That will give me some more suggestion of these steps, which they are along here. like that. Just get these in. I've got to squint my eyes and look at the reference photograph and see where my darkest darks are. Make sure we get those. Otherwise it doesn't really work. Yes, I think some of these things could be a good deal darker. The shadow of the steps. That's it, I think. That's a little better. Right, let's give us some suggestion that we've got steps here. But I can always darken that up when it's a bit drier. It's all about the timing with watercolour. Do it at the wrong time can make problems for you. So right. Yes, let's make sure we have got some real good darks. Right. Right, let's leave that for the moment. Now I should get some of this wall in, if we can here. That's a bit of ochre, and let's darken it a bit with a bit of raw sienna. Take out the not quite so yellow. Yes, Yes, I think we could get some of that in. Stones all laid on their edges like a Cotswold stone wall. So I'll put some darks in there, give some form to those. I think a little, let's dry it a bit perhaps, or maybe drop it in so we've got some shape. And it bleeds in, the colour can bleed in. So let's get something a little lighter in here. That's about it, I think. That's a little better. Still must preserve these white areas where I want to put in these flowers. I can. Stonework comes down here. Right. Let's just wash that in. I think I'm going to put a little touch of dark in between those stones now, so we can show their shape a little better. Right, just that. This shadow's under there. Make that a little higher. Right, and there's a little bit of wall still here, a bit darker. It's not getting so much of the sun. Right. Okay, let's get a bit of this colour. Let's go and bite the bullet and put in some nice colours for these hollyhocks. I've got a variety of reds actually, so which one to choose? I've got crimson alizarin, I've got some sort of rose colours as well, so let's see what we can do with them. Yes, we've got a few beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hollyhocks here. I'll try and represent the shape if I can. They had some white ones as well. So I've got a goodly number of these bright coloured red ones. Now what I should do actually is try and drop in some different red. So I've got some dark red, crimson alizarin, as opposed to cadmium red. Let's have a look. Is this a bit darker? A bit different, isn't it? Let me see. A little bit of purple added to my red might make it interesting. Yes, I think I can see that work. Let's get me some purple more, or violet. Got some. Right, now I've also got some white ones here. I think they've got just a little coloured bits in the middle. Now, to try and suggest those. Just putting it in the little colour into the middle of a white area to suggest a slightly different flower. They were over here more. So let's do that. Try to keep a random shape as well. I don't want it too formal. Right. Got a gap here. Right, now perhaps I should try and get some of these leaves in to infill some of these areas. There's a little white one there. Right, let's leave it at that. Let's go for some green, nice green leaves. I've got some in as what we put in earlier. Try to suggest the shapes. I've got these little buds usually above the main bloom there, where it hasn't really come out. In all these. mass of leaves. Right, let's see now, vary this shapes. Yes, down here I've got, let's try and do some of these leaves, suggest them. You can't paint obviously every individual one. You must try and suggest the form if you can. That's the tricky bit. But we'll have a go. The ones nearer to you to try and represent the form a little bit better. Just looking now, my closer view of my reference photograph. You can see I think I must get them a little bit, keep them light as well, because they are sort of quite a pale green, some of them, and also a little yellowy in parts. So let's, yes, let's introduce a different green. So I've got little buds coming up. Let's get some more green in here. Right, let's get some big shapes down here. Might suggest some of these leaves. Right. Let's just fill this area with a few leaf shapes. This will, you look quickly, you think, oh, they're a bit like a maple leaf, really. Not quite the same shape, but similar. Right. Okay. How are we doing? Now let's think about this. I need to introduce some few different greens in that grass there. Give me some variety. And also in this bed up here. We can suggest something different. Vary these as well. Right. Yeah, it was quite a bit darker actually. Must have always a mistake. Miss the darks. Come back the following day and think, oh, that's not right. You've got to remember that the watercolour dries so much lighter. You've got to try and compensate for that when you do it. Stone. Try and suggest some of this stonework. A little bit of mortar, some indications there to help us. Can't fit in every little mark, but you suggest them. And then the viewer's eye will fill in the different, makeup as they expect to see it. You want your viewer to make some effort to read it. Don't spell everything out. Hold them. Now I think what we should do is get some of these railings in. So I've got some nice darks here. Payne's grey. Bit of blue if necessary. at all these ironwork. Lovely wrought ironwork it is. Lots of decoration. Down here. It's a thick element here. And then we've got all the horizontal ironwork coming in there. That needs to be a lot darker. This central, this big post here. Right. Can go to the details later. For the time being, we just get the broad outline in, and we can tighten up as we go. Later with a straight edge. Bit of the shadow side there. Needs to be a bit thicker there. Right. Right, there we go. Now let us press on with the rail. Plus a little bit of this stonework. Let's add some texture to these. Looks rather flat at the moment. Add these in. They read better. This is stone. That bit I remember, like a plinth there, coming out this angle. I can mark that in. Yes, I think I need to get more of these railings in. So one could take an edge actually and do this of some sort. Got a bit of wood here, maybe that would help me run a line down better. So I've got that. Let's have a go at that. Yes. Let's done that one. And there are lots of others, of course, so we've got to see what we can do. Yes. I have now pretty much completed it. Actually, I didn't want you to see me doing all these railings, take a bit of time to do that, but I've just mapped them in to get this gate and a little bit more work on the hollyhocks and more detailed darkening up these things. But I think as I review it, I can see where I could have done better and where it's worked. I wanted to have good contrast between that yellow and these grayer muted tones of this sort of stonework. Got a bit of yellow here from the dry stone wall. Well, it's not exactly dry stone, but it's made of, I think, limestone and with mortar in between. But I've kept this pillar nice and light and a contrast and managed to preserve the whites so I could put in my hollyhocks. And also we've got a little work on the steps, so the shadow area under the lip of the step, so it suggests it. But anyway, I hope you liked it. It's just a bit of fun. It's a church in Felmersham. So if you like what I've done here, just push the like button there, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be notified of some more of my work, then just touch the subscribe button, so you'll be notified whenever I put something up. So I've taken off the tape, of course, so you get a little bit of a cleaner edge, although I'll have to clean up my pencil work there down this side, my sketch. Anyway, thanks for watching.